Merry meet, guys. Welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I am your Wednesday host, Houston, and this week we are talking about why magic fails, or why our spells tend to fall flat. Natalie and Jennifer did a great job, I think, in sorry, I'm shaking these down just to help me calm down from work. In explaining their point of view, I do agree that with a lot of what Natalie and Jen said, that spells don't work because we weren't all into it. That's not what we were focused on. I believe that when you set sacred space, you should, especially for ritual and spell work, you should be able to cast all of your other thoughts aside. And that's difficult to do. I'm not saying that's the world's easiest thing to do, because it's not. But you should have built up enough emotional output and intention to where during that spell, that's all you're focusing on. You're wound up so much in that emotion and that passion that the spell's going to work. And if you don't have that, at least in my case, if I don't have that first spell, it tends to fail. Not all the time. Like, I could go through the motions and half-ass do something, and because I've done it multiple times, I've repeatedly done it multiple times, and it works. But if I'm doing something new, I want to put all my intent. And for me, intention is emotion. I know that, and that's kind of weird. So I put all my emotion, all the feeling that I want this spell to create, the reason why I'm doing the spell. Let's say, the job spell that I talked about last week, the Angels video. That was one of many spells I did to get a new job. The last one, it brought success. I'm not saying the other ones didn't. The other ones probably had a huge play in it. But that was the last one I did to get the job. I did that for 11 days. I didn't just do it one time, set it and forget it. Like how there are a lot of spells like petition magics that, you write a petition down, you burn it, or a sigil down and you burn it, cast it into water, rip it up, throw it in the wind, and forget about it. And it works that way. Some spells are like that. But the one that I did was not. I worked it and worked it and worked it for 11 days, and I got results. And I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, because I'm really not. And I apologize if I come off that way. But I'm just trying to give you an example. So let's say another reason I believe why magic fails, it's just like what Natalie said. And I think that the universe knows what we need versus what we believe we need. Our needs on the human mundane level are more like wants, which I'm not saying you can't work witchcraft and get what you want. You can completely do that. If you have the skill and the knowledge to do so, you can get whatever you want. But what I'm saying is, sometimes when we're working magic, we have this desire that we want to bring into manifestation or fruition, or whatever word you want to use. We have this desire in the back of our mind that we want to see come to life. And we believe that desire, we see it in rose-colored glasses. It's the best thing that'll ever happen to us. Well, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes, getting that new house, even though it sounds amazing on paper, and it looks amazing on paper, and it sounds amazing from the agent, you walk through, it was fantastic, and you do a spell to make sure you get everything run smoothly, then all of a sudden it runs flat. And you wonder, why didn't it go through? Like, I love the house, I put passion behind it, I did everything I could, mundane and magically, but something felt like it was holding me back. When you feel like there's something holding you back magically, there's usually a reason, and that's usually why at least my magic fails, is because there's something that I'm seeing in rose-colored glasses. as a desire that is really not for my highest good. So going back to the house metaphor, or can't think of the word, but going back to that. So if you're doing a spell and you found this amazing house and, walk through, you thought it was fantastic, and you do spell work and, you do all your mundane stuff, but it falls through. And, you thought you had everything in the bag, you thought everything was good to go, but then, something just stood in your way and you didn't get the house. Well, incidentally, you come to find out later that the realtor or the landlord or what have you sold the house up like they do used cars. Made it seem like it was gold painted in gold, covered in gold, when really it probably wasn't the best. I'm not saying this is the everything. This happens all the time. But, sometimes it's like that. It's clear and clear cut. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes that just wasn't the right neighborhood the universe wanted you in, if you believe that. Or sometimes, you subconsciously weren't really digging the house, even though your outward appearance was like, yeah, I really want it. We do have a tendency as human beings to literally fuck ourselves. And what I mean by that is we are afraid of success for some reason. And I've fallen into this category. I've worked my way, I've been through bouts when I worked at the smoke shop that, maybe I wasn't meant to live in a better place. I wasn't meant to drive a nicer car. I wasn't meant to get a better job where I could actually work up and, work up through the company levels and, make promotions and things like that, because I was stuck, and you get in that mindset and it really does fuck with you. And I think everyone's been through it. I think all humans do. You get in that place where you think there's really nothing, well, I wouldn't say nothing left, because you think you have nowhere else to go, or you're kind of just stuck, and it's kind of extremely difficult to move forward. And when we're in that mindset, we fuck ourselves, because when we have those thoughts, it's hard for us to bring about a positive intent, positive emotion into a spell that we want to create change to get out of it. It's extremely difficult to do that. So with that being said, that's one of the main reasons why spells, rituals, and magic fail, is because we fuck ourselves. And if you don't like the wording, you can really get over it. But it's the truth. I'm not saying that everyone does it. It happens all the time. I mean, you can have the most perfect life, but in the back of your mind, there's a fear. We were ingrained with that since we were little, at least from my experience. I was ingrained with it when I was little. Not to be afraid of success, but that power corrupts. And I know that's not a good thing to hold on to, and I'm working through it, because one of the things of being a witch or a wizard or a warlock or a magician or a mage or a druid is to find power within yourself and commune with nature and be able to harness the power of nature and the surrounding elements. So getting over the fear of power, the fear of being successful, things like that. I think that's one of the main reasons why things fail. Also, shadow work. I think if you are not doing shadow work, if you don't know what that is, there's a ton of videos on YouTube about it. It's an everyday process, or it could be a couple months if you do it during the dark half of the year, like during winter, and you journal for your shadow aspect to get in tune. I know for me, I work on it at least once a month, maybe more, depending. And it's not so much where I journal as where I heal. I go through the meditations and I go through the memories that I repressed, the emotions that I repressed, and I let them out. And It could be through writing. It could be through drawing. It could be through talking, screaming. Singing is a big outlet for me. So when I feel super like I need to let something go, I'll go for a drive. Because I know, for me, the safest place for me to sing all that I have at the moment's in my car. And not saying that I can't sing inside, because I can sing in the house if I want to. But for me, I just feel that since no one can really hear me, but I can just belt out the song, that to the highest, I guess. So, sum everything up. I'm gonna do that before I quit. Before I turn off, I do believe that if our intention, our emotions are not behind the spell or ritual or magic or what have you, it's not going to work. You can't just go through the motions, even though I said, I do sometimes, but that's some things that I've done daily. Banishing rituals, blessings, things like that. Sometimes I go through the motions because I don't have the energy to do it fully, but then when I do, I fully commit to it. It's not like I'm just going through the motions and that's all I'm doing. The second one, the universe is holding you back for a higher purpose, a reason. There's something holding you back. And I don't mean something like another witch or another magical being. Well, I kind of do if you worship deity. A deity could hold you back. We're talking about the universe and source. Their plan for you is not what you think it is. So you may think it's one thing when in reality it's totally different. So when you work for this one thing, it's going to pull you back and to go the other direction. And the third, our minds tend to fuck us over. I think that's a big reason why a lot of spell work doesn't work. Is we also have this doubt and fear that what we do won't manifest, or sometimes what we do we feel might not be good enough. So I'm going to end with that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below for me in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until next week, guys, many blessings.